I'm Christy Conway with Charleston Home Design magazine, and I'm here with Brian Hopkins of EcoFoam Insulation and Coatings and Scott Hyland of Hyland Construction and Design. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm so glad to meet you guys because I think this project is particularly interesting and I really want people to hear about it. Brian, can you tell us why this project is particularly interesting?
This project's got multiple reasons. First, it was envelope-wise on our end, full closed-cell spray foam insulation package with some interior fiberglass sound. So it's a real tight package, full envelope. Also, we've got closed-cell in the wine cellar, but also what's very interesting about the project is the house, the original home. Is no longer the original home. It's a much larger home. It's higher off the ground, and Scott can give you a little more information on that.
Yeah, Scott, tell us what makes this home unique.
Well, originally it was a house built in around 1978, and it was about 6 foot lower than it sits right now. We had to bring in a house mover and raise the whole house up an additional 6 feet, and then do additions off both sides of the house.
Well, so you're talking about tearing down sidewalls and changing roof lines and things?
Yep, we tore roof lines off. We tore a 2-car garage off of the right side, and then redid a new foundation and did an addition off the right side. We moved the entrance, which was off actually to the left side of the house originally, and moved the front entrance to the front of the house where it normally would be, and did an addition off the left side as well.
So I'd imagine this gives you a great opportunity to change the efficiency of the home.
Well, we opened up the floor plan. We made it from about a 3-bedroom to a 5-bedroom house now. The whole second floor is basically a master suite with the homeowner's private office and library up there as well. Elevator has been added to the home, which brings them from the drive-under house now all the way up to their master suite.
And how did you incorporate EcoFoam insulation and coatings in this project?
Well, due to some of the, regulations today and, the cost effectiveness that EcoFoam brought to the table, it just made sense to bring them in and have them do the project. Some of the existing framing in the roof lines were not really beneficial for using standard insulation. You'd use a spray foam, you can do basically like a 2-inch thick insulation instead of an R30. Use the existing framing to save the customer money in the overall project.
So are you saying that spray foam is thinner but actually better, more effective?
Correct.
Okay.
Spray foam is a continuous insulation where traditional like fiberglass or bat blown is a cavity insulation. When you look at a house performance package, you're not just, it's not only, the spray foam, it's the windows and doors, it's the benefit the full envelope of spray foam gives to your HVAC system. You're running less of a system than you would with traditional cavity insulation. So there's all those benefits work together to create that entire, efficient package where the original house in 78 would not have had any of those, advances.
Okay. Now, I'm going to step back a little bit. I'm going to ask you to describe what spray foam is, just for people that don't quite understand that.
Spray foam insulation is a 2-part insulation as a resin and an isocide. It's an AB components. Those 2 components mix at the tip of our applicator's guns. They come out of our large rigs you've probably seen.
Yes.
Those, they're large for a reason. There's a lot going on in there. And at that moment, those 2 cross at the tip of that gun, and then you've created spray foam. In this situation, we use closed cell instead of open cell. It's a more dense product. It's moisture mildew resistant. Also adds some rigid strength inside the structure. That's just an extra benefit. But we do go less, 3 inches up in the roof, and so you're not, and when it adheres, it's there.
It's there.
When that stuff hits the sheathing, it's adhering the rafters, the studs, all your structural components. together. You're creating a complete sill. Whereas instead of the idea of pushing up,
Right.
traditional bat, it's in there, but it's not adhered.
Sure. I know my attic, in particular, you go up there and it's an older home, and it seems like the insulation is almost deteriorated.
It does.
It's thinner. It's, I don't know. It doesn't seem effective.
Well, when you get into loan and things like that, you've lost some of your insulation properties that you're looking at are air based, and over time those break down, those components break down, and as those are breaking down, so is the efficiency of the insulation. And eventually, you can go in like an older home, like a 70s home. I mean, you're kind of left with a lot of dust. And it's another benefit of spray foam. It doesn't create dust because it does not break down. So.
Okay. But you also do open cell spray foam and actually the traditional batting.
Yes.
Correct. So
Yes,
I
we
mean,
do.
any needs that people, a builder in particular, might have, you can provide that, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. So going back to Scott, can you tell us in what ways that you use the spray foam for this house?
I mean, you use spray foam as if you would, traditional insulation. Use it in the same areas. Use it in the floor, the ceiling, the walls. You can use open and closed cell foam depending on what the needs of the customer are. They can also use it as a sound barrier if they need to, but cost effectively, we usually just use batten insulation for sound barriers.
So, and that's the interior walls, is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
like between a bathroom and a room or a bedroom and another room, we typically use a sound insulation to break the sound coming to quieter areas like a bedroom or a bathroom.
And Brian mentioned something about a wine room, or was that you? And that always intrigues me. So I have to ask, why would you use a spray foam over a traditional batting in that scenario? I mean, beyond the obvious.
If you're looking at a wine cellar, temperature control is a very, very strategic part of keeping the wine at certain temperatures. So, with the spray foam, it's going to be a lot more efficient than just a typical batten insulation.
If you rip open a good cooler, it's got spray foam.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, tell me a little bit about EcoFoam's business concept. When did you start? Who runs your business and whatnot?
We started in Savannah area in Bluffton, South Carolina. Our owner's Tara Davis. She started there. They did well. They built up a strong base there, and we met up and they wanted to come to Charleston, and so they got me on board. We started really pushing here, I'd say March of last year, and had a good response. We've been lucky enough to work with guys like Scott, and we're developing more business, and it's good, and we're happy to be here, and looking for 2014 is going to be another great year, and just keep pushing, keep doing what we do good work.
It seems like spray foam installation is kind of a new thing. I mean, I know it's been around for a while, but everyone's talking about it now.
The spray foam, yeah, well, it's everybody's. It's like a lot of things. It's been around for a long time. It's just getting known now. Back in the day, it was a product. It was a lot of people didn't know a lot about it. It was very expensive, and it's just tradition. Tradition like any other product, supply demand. When something's new, low demand, high prices. So you didn't see me, but there's some like Helms say like on Kiowa. I think there's one like from the 90s. So it's been around. But also it's also the reason a different spray foam than we put in homes. But Boston Whalers, for instance, the reason they don't sink is because they have foam in them.
Okay.
So that's why you can cut them in half. It's been around for a minute, but it is becoming more cost effective as the performance of windows and doors and HVAC systems. The more we learn, the more the benefits are, and also the more our energy rates go up. We have more reason.
That one's probably huge.
That's
I would
a pretty
imagine
big
that
one.
drives
Yeah.
demand. Yeah.
Well, those aren't going back down.
Yeah.
So,
And also the kind of surgence of people wanting to help out the environment. I mean, your
Absolutely.
title is EcoFoam.
Right. Well, we want you've got to. I mean, if any of you keep up with it, you've got to pretty stretch thin power grid across this whole country. And I mean, you're running power bills up extremely. Some extreme power bills, especially in a climate like ours. So I mean, if you can cut, that how much your HVAC's running in half, you're making a pretty big difference.
I think they're reducing they're reducing your footprint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's being more cost effective. There was a time where spray foam was like an option for the rich. Now spray foam is getting to a point where it's more cost effective and more people can utilize it. I mean, a few years back, you spray foam, you'd never recoup the money you spent spray foam in your house in the 20 years you lived there.
Yeah.
So it really didn't make sense. Now the cost is coming down, and it's making more sense for an average person to be able to afford to spray foam their home and recoup the cost and reduce the footprint of their home.
And you actually, Scott, mentioned that there are some government requirements now with the efficiency of a home.
There's some inspection requirements now where you typically have to bring in a third-party agency, and they go through and they do basically an energy test on the house to make sure that it's up to the new standard codes. And with EcoFoam and companies like that, it helps be able to achieve that a lot easier.
Like blower door tests and things like that?
Yep, blower door test. They'll check around outlets and stuff like that. Most of the outlets and everything are already installed in the house before they install the spray foam. So they're already foaming around those outlets and sealing those penetrations, without having to come back through and resealing them at a later time. It's getting all completely sealed at the time of installation.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Well, is there anything else you want to add about spray foam or this project in particular?
It's been a good project to be involved in. It's a great. Scott's a great builder, and we've had a successful time with this one.
Good.
It's a bear, but we got it done, and we just, like I said, look forward to 2014 and look forward to working with Scott some more and
Fantastic.
moving forward.
Now, do you have a website that people can check out and a phone number that people can call so that they can maybe set up an appointment? Do you do any kind of consultations or anything?
Yeah. You can go online and fill out. We have a consultation request form online.
Okay.
Our website is EcoFoam Installations. That's plural.com. Fill out a consultation request, and we'll come. Check out your project, be it new, retro, commercial, residential, and we'll have a sales rep come to you and put it together.
Fantastic. Do you have a
Yeah.
phone number that people can call?
Yeah, they can call our main office at 645-2300.
Okay. And Scott, do you have a website? I'm sure you do.
4 of them. How many you want? HighlandConst.com,
Okay.
or you can email us at highlandconst@gmail.com.
Do you prefer to be emailed or called?
It's always nice to get an email and then follow up with a call, so
Okay.
we know what our customers need, and if there's something we need to research beforehand, we can call them with educated information on what they're looking to do.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for speaking with me.
Thank you.
We've been talking with Brian Hopkins of EcoFoam Insulation and Coatings and Scott Hyland of Hyland Construction and Design. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.